We're live.
We're live. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the May 12th, 2025 Painesville Township Zoning Commission meeting. Please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Okay, John Everett,
Here.
Darrell Webster,
Here.
John Hott,
Here.
uh,
Mark is walking right through.
Mark Ruth,
Apologize.
Ted Galushik,
Here.
and Jim is not here.
Okay, Sean or Rachel, have either of you had any general inquiries from the public?
I have not known.
Okay, anybody here in the audience that doesn't have an agenda item wish to make a statement to the commission? Hearing none, I'll call the meeting to order. Acknowledgement of minutes. We had two minutes that we were looking at, March 10th, 2025 and April 14th, 2025. In review of those minutes of the March 10th meeting in 2025, is there any corrections need to be made to those minutes that were sent out, emailed to us by Rachel?
I'll move approval.
Hearing none? Okay. I got a motion to approve by Darrell and second by Mark. Discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Okay, Darrell Webster,
Yes.
John Everett,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
John Hott,
Yes.
and Ted Galushik.
Yes. Okay, the April 14th, 2025 minutes. Any corrections that, as they were sent to us? Hearing none, entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Okay, made a motion by Mark, seconded by John Everett. Discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Okay, John Hott,
Yes.
John Everett,
Yes.
Ted Galushik,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
and Darrell Webster.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have no public hearings tonight. So it's site plan architectural reviews. We have 3 cases, take them one at a time. First one is case 2025-03 Z is in zebra Charlie. Site plan for a 6,000 cold storage building at 154 Fairport Nursery Road. It is, folks, the one right here by Richard Beck, Associates. Is the applicant here? And who's going to be speaking for the applicant?
I will be.
Will you please state your name, please, and your address, and a little bit about your proposal.
My name is Juan Moreno, and my home address is 123 Nebraska Street, Painesville, Ohio. I own Moreno Landscaping with my family.
The last meeting, didn't they say we had to swear them in?
No, we're not, there's no need to swear in.
No, okay, I just want to be sure.
You're
Okay,
good.
sorry.
Good check.
That's all. I'm one of the co-owners of Moreno Landscaping. I own it with my sister and my father. My father, he's been building his clientele for landscaping services since 2000. In the year 2017, we registered as a company. And since then, we've been providing high-end luxury landscaping and horticulture services for all the counties near us, Lake, Summit, and Cuyahoga. In Painesville Township, we have an existing clientele base, and we want to keep investing in our property on Fairport Nursery Road to better help service our clients and also help build our team. So we're proposing a new garage so that we're able to store landscape materials and work on our vehicles when we're not able to landscape because of the weather.
Okay? Excuse me. Sean,
Yes.
staff report.
So, I've been working with him for probably about a year now.
I think so.
on this project, and we kind of have it down to where it needs to be, what it needs to be, and what's feasible for them as a company. It's literally what he described. It's cold storage. It's basically, I think the floor. It's not. Is it concrete flooring or is it just basically?
It would be concrete.
So yeah, so he's pouring a lot of money into the concrete itself for that large of a building, and then just some electrical run inside, siding, insulation type situation. Nothing extravagant. I don't think he's running utilities all the way back there. And if he would like to do that, then obviously that's a county level to bring that to the back. And I know he's talked about it, but I just think at this point, getting the building up, getting it approved, and then working step by step to get there, because they do have some planting in the front as well. I mean, it helps them out to be able to get some things in the front of the property there. The building obviously is proposed in the back portion here, but basically all that would shift up front. They've done a good job. They put asphalt into the back instead of like the neighbor that has just basically all dirt they're driving on. I mean, ultimately, there's nothing from a zoning standpoint that I have caught, seen, or are concerned about for what is going in here.
Okay. Questions either to the applicant or the staff from the commission?
I would make a comment, but when you said cold storage, I was wondering whether you needed refrigeration, but you're not really talking about anything, you're not cooling anything down, it's just storage of
Just
fertilizer
equipment.
or
Yeah, so
that type of thing.
to me, I would also consider an agriculture garage, just to store our vehicles and our equipment. So,
The only other thing is that, it doesn't have anything to do with this, but you need to get some addresses up there where you find the building. I had a lot of trouble finding which one it is.
I definitely understand. So we'll definitely
That's
put
for
some
fire
address
department
on.
or anything else, so. I just commented because I went down there and looked it over, I had difficulty finding the place.
Okay, definitely understandable.
Anybody else on the commission have a question for the applicant or the staff? It's gonna be, excuse me, sir, it's gonna be, just, your equipment, am I
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, and our
And just-
materials.
Okay. I see you gonna, I know that there's, on the drawings, or the tree in the front, is that existing or is that proposed?
The tree?
There's a, right, is he,
Oh,
Sean, go toward the road, there's a tree right there, is that gonna stay?
It fell unfortunately on the power lines in
Okay.
that storm in the fall.
Perfect, thank you.
Basically,
And
it's-
so since we have an existing curb cut, we don't need any, permits from ODOT because it's existing. I'm assuming that.
Yes, it
So
is.
you may wanna check that with ODOT, just in case, you
Mhm.
may need to get that. Okay,
And which item was that with ODOT?
I'm just suggesting, I don't know if you need a permit from ODOT since, since it's an existing drive, curb cut, and you're not changing it, you should be okay with the state.
Okay, no,
Okay?
that's
Just
understandable.
State Route 535 is state of Ohio's
Mhm.
jurisdiction. Having said that, any other questions for the commission? Hearing none, recommend a motion for approval of site plan. I got a
I'll second
approval by Mark and a second by John. Discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Okay, Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Ted Galusha,
Yes.
Darrell Webster.
Yeah.
John Everett
Yes.
and John Hott.
Yes.
Sir, your site plan has been approved.
All right, thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
You're good to go, so then just call me tomorrow, we'll touch base.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Second site plan review is case 2025-04. Site plan for a 1,620 square foot storage building at 529 Fairport Nursery Road. And this, the application of this packet right here. Please state your name and your address, please.
My name is Leroy Shirey. I reside at 5707 Ivy Drive in Minot on the Lake. I'm representing U.S. Veterans Motorcycle Club at 529 Fairport Nursery Road.
Please describe your proposal, please.
We are proposing an agricultural building to be placed on the property as a base of operations for our nonprofit. We are a 501c3 with eventually, we would like to open up a Feed Our Veterans in Lake County.
Okay, I see where you're at. All right. You're right across from the bar that was for sale.
Yeah, we like to give everybody directions from the racetrack and avoid the bar.
You're across from the bar. Okay. You'll need a curb cut, correct?
I don't understand
You
that.
need to get a driveway onto,
There's an existing asphalt driveway that's there.
and you're gonna
Um,
use that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else, sir, from your standpoint? Anything else from you?
I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's all I'm
Okay.
proposing.
Hold that thought. Sean, staff report.
So I've also been working, feels like for about a year and a half now, like not necessarily, I took this over, so he was working with Harley a little bit in the realm of getting this started, and now there are large photos coming to fruition pretty quickly for them, so that's good. Setbacks are everything that meet zoning requirement. I think parking is gonna be something that they're gonna be working on, like, from a zoning standpoint, like, they're not gonna have too many people there, but if they do start having larger events, they know that they're gonna have to expand the parking for sure. But right now, for their size and what their outreach is, what they're proposing is perfectly fine from zoning. I know that he's working with the county in terms of some drainage along the back, but as I kind of stated earlier, for this project, what we're looking at is the building, so even if they needed to shift the building or move the dirt off-site, that it doesn't affect it. So this cold storage also is not going to have sanitary, sewer, or water currently run to it. Whether that capacity or not would be available, not sure, but this property definitely has enough space for septic if they wanted to get that crazy and install that. Designs, I mean, it's industrial, so this is gonna basically probably be the nicest building within a 1.5 mile radius minus the service department.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions from the commission? To the applicant or to Sean?
I have there's a trailer on the property and some other storage. Is that to be removed or is that staying there for?
The Connex box we're currently using for storage. The mobile office that was donated to us, that's what we kind of operate out of right now. It's just sitting on blocks, but we would like to eventually keep that somehow.
I'm not sure if that's possible or not, but,
It would be, because it would be classified as an accessory structure, and it's a smaller accessory structure for like what it is and then the use of it. There was even, talks about maybe making an addition to there so that would actually be the physical office, depending on how large they get. And basically in addition to it would just be a breezeway with a concrete pad there, steps up into it, and within the setbacks, which would ultimately be approved. I'm gonna work with him in terms of getting it on a permanent foundation. It's not livable, it's solely an office. It's literally an old school construction trailer that they got, and it's helped them along the way.
it probably would not pass without sewage anyway, would it?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I could see some potential in that, and the building of course looks better than three or four other ones down there, so, the plan that you submitted. I was pretty disappointed when I haven't been down that area for quite a while, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done down there that's, with cars that are unlicensed and junk that's sitting around and across the street, not your property, but, and I can see where that could be developed and maybe it look pretty good, it might help to get some of the rest of the area cleaned up too. Your plans, you buying a property, a building that's already constructed or it comes in parts?
This is a kit from Menards.
question on that, it's all completely ready to move into, other than that septic system or something. Cause they won't give you a permit to do anything much without having that approved, so. I would think the county probably not.
Yeah, so the county, in terms of cause I submit the plans to all departments, and basically the comments on the past two cases, they're going, there's no sanitary sewer, so my comment is, okay, so it's not gonna be used for, like, this is not like a rec center, or it's not like a restaurant, bar, like where they need that. So the proposed use itself is it. So let's say they sell the property and somebody wanted to put a different type of facility in there, they would probably then be required at that point to bring in the sanitary sewer line or install a septic system.
Is that the property that Blue Diamond was on before, or was that next door?
It's behind next door, not this property that I recall.
There was a bar on this property at one time.
Many moons
I don't
ago.
recall the name.
Was it your property, or that? I wonder what they used as a sewer.
They had a septic tank on the property that was removed during the demolition of the building.
I think it was called Blue Diamond.
Yeah, I don't recall the name of it, sir.
That's where it would have been. That's where it would have been.
John, any more questions?
No, I think that's.
I have one question. Maybe you said it and I missed it, and I apologize if I did, but I heard you say veterans. What's the purpose of your 501c3?
The organization is U.S. Veterans Motorcycle Club. So our mission statement is to help veterans in need from any branch of services within the Lake County and surrounding areas. So what does that mean? That means that we provide food for veterans, we provide furniture, we adopt families every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year we did 3 families. Currently helping a guy find a place to live. We work through the VA services. We put motors in cars. We've fixed roofs. We've fixed bathrooms. We've done walk-in showers. Just helped a gentleman in Willoughby to get a hospital bed and erected it in his living room. So that's our mission as a motorcycle club. The second part of that is Feed Our Veterans. In Ashtabula, there's an establishment that is called Feed Our Veterans, and they hand out 30 pounds of food for every registered veteran or person that shows up, not just veterans. We would like to emulate that on this property in Lake County. Every year we gather food and we donate to the Sheriff's Department in Geauga County. We donate to Feed Our Veterans in Ashtabula. We also go to the VA pantry that's at Psalm Center Road and donate food there that it works its way down to Wade Park. So that's something that we're trying to do off this property as well.
Outstanding. Are you guys affiliated with Sub-Zero at all?
We have tried to work with Sub-Zero, but our mission's kind of offset a little bit. They're a great organization. I've donated clothing with them as well. We just don't have a close working relationship with them yet.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Leroy. And that question helped with some of my questions as well. That's such a wide range of things that you offer and service. And by the way, thank you for your support.
My
in
understanding.
being a veteran. What's the plan inside in terms of storage? What's the approach you're taking? Just
When we get materials donated to us, sometimes it's from Home Depot or different places, or sometimes private individuals will pay for supplies. We need some place to store it. The Connex box was the starting place, but it's kind of got most of our operating items in there. Our color guard items are a couple different things that are in there. So the building will be primarily storage of those type of items. So we're also hoping to develop that into having some type of cold storage refrigeration where we can have food in there. We're already aligned with the Cleveland Food Bank, that once we have an established property and coolers on place, that we'll be receiving pallets of food that we can hand out every month. So it's twofold. It's a place of operations, it's a storage place, and then it'll be some type of Feed Our Veterans.
and how many are in the motorcycle club?
I have 5 full patch members at the moment with 1 medically restricted member. So there's 6.
6 that make up your club.
This chapter, we are a nationwide organization with over 200 members.
Okay, thank you.
Daryl, any questions?
I was just looking to see for a landscaping plan, and I'm trying to figure out what you're doing for landscaping. Now that rendering there, that is a rendering, right?
Yeah.
That's the picture from Menards.
Pardon?
That's the picture that Menards offers on their website.
Okay.
That's just a representation of the building.
And the building looks nice, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just wondering how we set with our, requirement for trees, bushes, all that kind of stuff.
So on the one page, there's basically for shrubs, he's planning on putting them on the front and the sides, not on the parking side or on the rear, which basically is gonna surpass what the industrial district kind of requires, so it's not like Menor Avenue with
Yeah,
full-fledged,
No, I realize that.
yeah,
I just wondered what it was because I don't
yeah.
have that picture.
It's probably gonna be simple beds with boxwoods and maybe some color if they get froggy on it, but it's just simple, low maintenance type situation. Like I said, that kind of steps back into the smaller parking as they get started. And then once they kind of get more of that, like, hey, we have this many people coming to pick up food donations, that will all expand and, you know, it allows them to grow kind of as large as kind of like Sub-Zero has gotten type situation, like where it's hundreds of donations, so.
Are you looking forward to what traffic patterns you're going to use, because you got people coming, people going out? You don't want to do the same thing running into each other.
Yes, sir. Currently, we deliver.
You deliver right now?
Currently, when we have food donations, like the families for Christmas and
Okay.
stuff, we will pack up our vehicles and
I
deliver.
just wonder if you're gonna have people coming in and going out.
If we had multiple people coming in, we would probably set up time slots for people to arrive. That way we have minimal traffic.
Okay. Just curious.
Yes, sir.
You stated that it's a nationwide organization. Do you
Yes,
have
sir.
like a constitution or anything like that?
We have our bylaws, standard operating procedures, or articles of incorporation, if you will. Each chapter has them, and then our national board has their own. So we have governing documents.
You had to request a membership or a chapter from some national organization, or, and you have already said you picked up food for people, but, is that through your organization, or is it just to help the people out?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
If you said you get food from food bank and take it to people who might need it.
No, actually, what we do is we do collections of food. So we may have an event someplace where people bring cans of food. There's a gentleman that regularly donates hams, turkeys, frozen dinners and stuff to us on his own goodwill. There's one place I worked had a program where people would be able to buy back their attendance points with donating food. That was $1,700 worth of food that the company donated to the club. That's where we get our food. We then deliver that to like the VA at 91 and Psalm Center Road, that's in that area, their pantry, or we'll take that food and go to Ashtabula's Feed Our Veterans, or we'll have families that we deliver that food to. So the only place that we would be getting our food from on pallets would be the Cleveland Food Bank, which we can't start receiving food from them until we have an establishment with coolers.
You know, on that same line, if you are a nonprofit, then that affects the taxes that we collect in the township, correct?
I mean, probably very minimal. I mean, this property is in terms of for donations and times, like tax bills, I mean, the township itself, I mean, his total property there, taxes for the year is $2,186. It might go up a little bit with the building, but in the nature for being, the government will collect their taxes, even though it's in terms of a nonprofit, they're still gonna get their land assessments, so.
And how long has your chapter been officially recognized, if that's through your?
We started out as a 501c19 about 9 years ago. Roughly 3+ years ago, we reapplied to become a 501c3. So this chapter's been in existence a little over 9 years.
So one last question. How do veterans from the county, how do they seek you out? How do they know about you guys to reach out to you?
We have a web page, we have a Facebook page, we have regular advertisement that we do, we have word of mouth that we go to different events. I am regularly involved with VFWs in the area, specifically the one in Painesville. That post, we work closely with American Legion Riders, other veterans clubs. Of course, we have the big sign on the property. And I also work with the fellow, Randy, I mentioned earlier. He helps us find veterans. So we are active in the community and we make ourselves known that this is what we are.
I'm retired military, so I was really just curious more than anything else. But thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions from the commission? Okay, I have a few. Normally, on a site plan review, we normally would require a landscaping plan. The landscaping plan, this one here is very minimal, I'll say that. However, it's in an industrial piece, you kind of, industrial area rezone. Number two is that you kind of, you have identified what type of landscaping. I would recommend as part of the motion to approve is that the staff would approve the, landscaping plan that they would develop, you know, so that would be, staff would take care of that for us in this situation. If this plan was in Menor Avenue or something a little bit more R2 or 1 or B1, I would do it a little differently, but now this is industrial where it's at. So I would recommend the staff approve whatever renderings they do for a plantings for the landscaping plan. Okay, and I had one more. Oh, and then if Sean, if they would have to come back to, let's say, would they have to come back to us for a revised site plan if they need to expand the parking for expanded services?
Typically, no. So the site plan is triggered by large building over a certain square footage, additions over a square footage, hence the next case, or some drastic change to the site plan in nature. So like parking lot would be, needs to meet, you know, expansion for zoning and
Because I know the number of parking spaces is usually geared toward the size of the building. And determining size of the building and what zone it is in, R1, R2, or I1, or whatever. So, okay, that solves that problem, so, okay. So, any other questions from the commission, either to the applicant or to the staff? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Approve the landscaping with it.
What's that?
Approve
Contingent,
the landscaping with it.
contingent on the landscaping.
Well, yeah, I guess contingent upon
You
that.
guys said. It helps.
So I got a motion on the floor, made by John and seconded by Mark, that the site plan is approved contingent upon the staff approving your landscaping plan. Okay? And am I correct, John?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Kmart Ruth,
Yes.
Ted Galushik,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
John Everett,
Yes.
and John Hott.
Yes.
Sir, your site plan has been approved.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
good to go. Just call me tomorrow.
Our next site plan review is the case 2025-05, site plan for a 7550 addition to an existing 3600 square foot. So you're basically tripling your size at 342 Blackbrook Road. Please state your name and your address, please.
Michael Petrie, and my home address is 11190 River Road, Chardon, Ohio.
Okay, and please tell us your plan.
So, you know, I own and operate a logistics and trucking company out of 342 Blackbrook.
Okay.
And I've outgrown my warehouse, my current warehouse. I currently store, not permanently, but in and out of there, like trade show equipment and concert equipment as well. So I'm currently running several of the facilities behind me at the Blackbrook Self Storage, who my neighbor is kind enough to let me use. But I guess I have the property there, and obviously that's not heated behind me. And some of these, some of the equipment that I store is kind of fragile to colder weather, so it is quite expensive of nature. You know, electronic can be electrical equipment and like trade show equipment. So. I'm looking for a little safer place to store it that I can have better security and heated storage.
Okay. Staff report, please.
This was a shorter term turnaround. I believe I had a phone call with the contractor about questions. The property owner and contractor basically did 90% of my job for me and reached out to the county, worked with Steve from Stormwater to mitigate any water concerns for this addition, since obviously it's taking up some square footage. And looks like they're putting kind of like a swale slash something in the back to help with water, to help mitigate any issues there. There were no other points of concern or return information from the county from the standpoint. So their only obstacle from them would be going through the building department in case they have weird inspection things that we don't oversee from a township zoning standpoint. For here, it basically is going to make this one of the larger, nicer buildings in the area. You wouldn't even know that it was there unless they came in. And it meets all requirements for setback. I mean, basically, I think there's offices up front, right? And then basically continuous storage, moving in and out of whatever else they have.
Okay. Questions from the commission to the applicant or to Sean?
I just, I don't know if you were sure, if you were here when I mentioned, I had trouble finding the place. You have a big name up there, trucking or whatever, the business is, but the, house number, I guess you'd say, was very difficult to see or even read, but, are the, storage units behind there part of your property too?
No, that's our neighbor. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this would be the second expansion onto this building as well. I think they expanded to the right a couple,
Correct.
more than a couple years ago. I don't know.
2008, maybe.
Yeah, so
Now, by the right, which way are you?
to the towards the east.
The
So,
brown,
yeah,
the
see,
brown top. The
So this was the original building back in the day, in 2007,
Okay.
and obviously selected the right business because now we're expanding. So good choice in business.
so you say.
Right, the stress level this is.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission members?
This is not the expansion of employees or parking or, so this is just your storage.
Correct. Yeah.
John or Darrell?
No, I just, from where it's at, I don't know if, you know, landscape would make any difference. The only base, I don't know if this is a right of way off to the left here on the print, Is that,
It's all shared drive back to flagged lots. So
Okay.
lots of easements there. Not even a road. It's
So
more
it's
of
not
a
a road.
private drive.
okay,
So Blackbrook is the main address, and then
Okay.
future development to the right for Gem Construction. So what Gem Construction's proposing is basically you're never gonna see this building.
yeah,
Okay.
just wanted to know,
Yeah.
you know, just to get a feel for it.
Alright. Any other questions? Darrell?
Nope.
John?
I'm good.
Landscape wise, it's gonna be good. I mean, good. I see the swell on the, between your gym and the new proposed building. And basically what you're doing is, this is where you're gonna be out, the trucks we have shown right now as being outside, they'll be inside. Basically, you know, the existing building. I saw a picture of that's gonna be all gonna be inside, right?
No, the lawn will be
So, yeah, so it's gonna go here over, go directly back, come over to here and there.
Okay.
right.
So maybe some of their smaller trailer equipment they might wanna bring inside if it has more high-end electrical.
They'll be
but
gone.
Okay,
Then they'll be storing some other stuff
Yeah.
outside.
good enough.
Those are freeloaders
And
trying to.
basically all this
Take
is
it.
is gonna be continuing, just a bigger area to store your equipment or whatever you need. to.
Customers, yeah,
Is that
customers.
correct?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna increase the employees?
Yeah, I mean, it could, I mean, it'll create new revenue. I mean, I can, you know,
Okay. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to put you in the spot, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last question is no additional traffic or employees. Do I ask the question?
yeah, no, I mean, not right now, no.
That's fine.
Yep.
Okay. If there any other questions from the commission for either the staff or the applicant? Hearing none, because my hearing aids aren't working, would entertain a motion for approval of the site plan.
So we'll
Of approval by John, second by Daryl, for approval of the site plan as proposed. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Ted Galusha,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
John Everett,
Yes.
and John Hott.
Yes.
Sir, your site plan has been approved.
Thank you, everyone.
You have a nice evening.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Call tomorrow.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
New business, there is none.
I guess there might be.
Am I correct? Oh, sorry.
Not sure if that's where I should have added mine. So there was a tentative, another site plan that wanted to make this, the meeting, but I was not comfortable adding it based upon the extent of what's happening, and it's not fair to you guys as a board to present like a half-made cake. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I wanted to take my time to do that, but I'm gonna do my due diligence, and I did talk to the property owner, and I'm just kind of just throwing this out there, kind of showing you. So this is the old Gibbs lighting building. It's on Menor Avenue. So
Yes.
if you leave here, and it's before you get to basically the American Home Energy and Landscaping Building there.
Okay.
So I think that's 1300 Menor Avenue. He purchased that building, and he is currently doing his interior alterations. He's going to be going through phases. He's going to have an addition on the left-hand side of the building here. That's what he is proposing on coming to you guys next month for. And then a possible expansion on this side down the line in future. He's basically gonna need. I've never had this many variances that are basically gonna have to change a site plan. So that's why I wanted to get all the variances lined up, teed up to kind of see what would, hinder you guys from possibly, approving the site plan, because then the next night he's gonna go in front of the BZA and ask for displays this close to Menor Avenue, having his new large sign that's from over here, that close to the road, having a fence out by the road. There's quite a few setbacks that he might see, but I'm just doing what I said I would do. Let's see. Sorry. The way that these are basically, so he's gonna need a video variance, and then decorative aluminum fence, outdoor displays. Now, with his property, he's concerned about like the look and how it's going to meet Western Reserve, which is reasonable in his approach on this because Western Reserve in our catalog versus Western Reserve to what we approve, is not always exact, and that's because we kind of have to groom each item a different way. So I'll probably get some of the stuff out to you guys earlier, if that makes any sense, versus, and then you guys can ask questions, feedback, so then I can bounce back and forth. Because what I don't want is I don't want him to come here and then you guys have 1,000 questions he's not ready for or we don't know, and then it gets continued and then continued and then continued. So I'm going to do my best to be able to not have that happen, because I know, let's see, I'm really trying to get a rendering from him of, let's see, because
What is he selling or what is?
Yeah, what's this?
so what he sells is what he sells next door.
Those stones and things that are up on the sidewalk
Correct.
now?
So I'm trying to see.
Is that Radiator Shop, is that part of the same property?
No, so
The
that is.
The fireplace?
So this, yeah, so like this is basically, he's planning on having, seamless metal type roof. This is kind of like the siding that he wants on there, and then like the stone finish on the bottom. But because he kind of gives examples of Popeyes, he'll have these type of lights, these type of windows. So I'm trying to get like a rendering so you guys can visualize what it's going to look like versus like a scrapbook. So it's, you guys don't have a full picture. And I'm not being mean. It's, the problem is, he's in a unique property here. So that's probably why things were allowed before versus further down here, we have a closer building and not so much. So this is the current display, right? So you're ultimately looking at, in terms of frontage, 30 foot, right? So 30 foot along the sidewalk, this stuff's pushed back versus what is proposed, you're looking at almost 100 feet of stuff, right? So that's, I'll zoom in so you can kind of see as much.
Okay.
In terms of, this is definitely probably one of the larger obstacles you guys will have for a Menor Avenue project.
I'll tell you one thing, have two things to let him, let the applicant know. Work with him on the, Western Reserve color scheme. So we'll have to go over, over in here. Number two is the display that he has that he wants, that's gonna be in need of variance. The biggest question I have for him, and maybe you can work with him on that, is we gotta have a real good sight line for people trying to make a left turn on from his site on Menor Avenue.
Yeah.
And if you can't see oncoming vehicles, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
So how close he wants to, that variance is gonna be contingent upon us having a good sight line for exiting vehicles.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we want to, approve a potential traffic problem. I don't think he wants a, existing traffic problem, potential traffic problem. So, I mean, it's tough enough to make a left turn out of the Wendy's and et cetera,
Yeah.
on the Menor Avenue. So, having said all this stuff, so from my standpoint, just looking at what he wants to do for variance wise, I think that that's the two things I would like to see him work on before I to get here. Second of all, is that, well, I don't know what the commission's thought process is, but if we go in and we go through the process with him, and we get a site plan, contingent upon, like Sean said, contingent upon having these variances approved, and we've made a number of, motions contingent upon the B and Z approving the variances, requested variances. Cause we all know that if one of the variety of variances they want, which null and voids our approval because the site plan now has been changed. I'm wondering if it'd be better for him or her, sorry, the applicant, to get the variances as much as he can before he comes to us, because what's gonna happen if he comes in and he needs 10 variances, and B and Z says, okay, I'll give you 7 but not 3, or 8 and 2, whatever the case may be. Then he has to come right back the following month, and we go through the whole thing again. So I'm not sure which was the best way for the applicant. That's gonna be
Efficient.
that decision by the applicant, but it would behoove him or her, I'll say him, sorry, apologize, to really look into it and see what the feasibility would be to get these needed variances approved. Because he has to understand that we approve a site plan based upon the variances being approved, not approved, that means our motion is moot, our approval is moot. And he's back to square one with the site plan with us. So,
Sean, that's basically where you said you're gonna try to work with him on that, right?
Yeah, I need to figure out how many variances there are. I mean, just looking at this, so this parcel requires 10 feet on each side of grass before you get to the parking, and there's not 10 feet on either. They're not there now, but this parcel was created, so it needs to happen. So, because there's not a 10-foot grass buffer, even a 5. There's no buffer in general. So that would be one of the variances that would need to be approved. The build design, obviously, the expansion is going to be here. So, in the nature of, when you guys look at the building and this going in here, if the BZA says, yeah, we don't like the sign there, it's not approved, I don't think that's going to hurt or break your guys' case. If anything, he's going to have to shuffle his displays further on the side or in the rear, ultimately probably where they should go, but that's for the BZA to decide, because I'm denying these. The BZA would have to look into it. Line of sight it's interesting when you bring it up, because I drive that way a lot, and when I make a left out of here from get-go after I get my free Monday coffee, it's slow on the turn, but by the time you get right here, you're at full acceleration to go. So that's something to evaluate when you go here and you're taking this sign that's there so many feet back. So it'll be a conversation to have. So then I'll have the list, and then I'll go from there, because the two-way traffic will be on the right-hand side. Yep. This side will be exit only, but still that person may be making the left or right there. And I don't know what these bushes are. I mean, this is a good landscaping plan, but I just don't know whether or not we need this many displays right off the sidewalk. I get it draws attention, but in the nature of the beast, there's space.
And there's an existing drive there, right? A driveway.
Yeah, so there are 2 existing curb cuts. There's one here that's monsterly wide that goes back into the muffler place, and then the one here, because I think originally it was designed to kind of go in the back and park. Because this before was, I think, 2 parcels. It was all spread off, but he went and combined them, which is fine. But this is where he's going to have, all of this outdoor storage and stuff. But I just think he's envisioning.
I think we had a bar there before in Manners, which was that was continuous, cars in and all the time.
For the bar.
Yeah, but don't forget,
The quickest bar in town.
yeah, but since that bar was there, the road's been widened to 5 lanes.
Yeah.
The part was Gibbs was,
It was Bob's Big Boy, wasn't it?
Manners Big Boy.
Yeah. So the big
And that
boy.
had us sugar around there. I remember going there to get something to eat
Where
when I was younger.
currently or the gift?
So the
This
other
is
thing,
the
and the other thing,
best
Sean, is that even though there are existing curb cuts, I
Oh,
think you should go back, still go to ODOT and just make sure that they're, okay with that,
That's-
what he wants to do.
The
That's up to him.
dispensary is still dealing with ODOT, so.
Oh, yeah,
It's not an easy task, so I'll make a note of that to be able to, because those are just gonna be all the contingencies. I know, and I understand where Chris is coming from, but it was a hard conversation that there'd be no reason for him to stand in front of you guys and you'd be like, I don't think this is a good idea. So
right, Okay.
it gives me that time frame to work on it, and I know that this will be probably a case in front of you next month, and whether it's continued, then at least then you know all the variances were approved the following month, and then he's still back here. So
okay, time will tell. Any other new business?
I think that's enough.
Any old business? We didn't have a public hearing, so zoning inspector's report.
Reminder that the training is coming up. I think June was it 17th, John? What was it we were talking about?
I'm not certain on that.
I'll have
I was
Rachel
actually
send out
looking for
the
extra
email, but it's
information on
training. So I know the deadline's coming up for basically it's
Regional Planning Zoning Workshop, June 13th, 2025.
yeah. So if you
Where's
wanted
it
to
gonna be?
attend that, we need to know beforehand because we have
Where's
to
it
pay per head.
Where are you gonna have it?
Where was it at?
I think it's in Youngstown somewhere.
Yeah, so it's
Here.
far.
Yeah, it's not
It's a
close.
hike. It's not. It's a one tank trip.
Yeah, I know. I used to drive that every Sunday.
So
We have hours on that,
normally that thing starts right at like 9:30 and probably goes till 2:33. That's I don't have the flyer with me, but
any idea what day of the week that is?
you said the 13th. It's a Friday.
Usually is a Friday.
Friday the 13th, and drive down to Youngstown. Sounds fantastic.
Uh,
Yes, that's normally it there, usually on a Friday,
Oh yeah, it's always a Friday because everybody tries getting out early and everything else. So.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Is our zoning meeting on June 9th?
Technically, unless there's a holiday on.
Yeah, our next meeting is June 9th.
Yeah.
That is our next meeting, June 9th.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
When does the deadline need to be in for the renovations?
Probably about at least a week before. My guess.
I don't know the exact cutoff. Normally it's a week prior. Plus, I know Dave Radacci, so I could squeeze you in. You just sent me the link, the attachment. No attachment, of course not.
Traditionally, we usually got applications in and then we carpool it, so if anybody wants to go down, we usually, put in for it, and like I said, they hadn't approved it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's worthwhile in most cases, I've been to a few
Yeah.
where sometimes you don't get a lot out of it, but
I would recommend it.
it's usually good.
I have a tournament to do that weekend.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other further business before the commission? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment at 7:25.
So moved.
By Daryl, second by Mark. Roll call, please.
Okay, John Hott,
Yes.
Mark Ruth,
Yes.
Darrell Webster,
Yes.
Ted Galushik,
Yes.
John Everett.
yes.
Okay.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned, folks. See you in a month.
And that is gonna.
Have a nice Memorial Day weekend.